During the NBA offseason, one of my favorite things to do is to predict what might happen for the next season. And you guys may have seen some of those videos where I'm predicting, the conference standings, or maybe what player I think is going to win MVP, or what team could win a championship. It's really nothing new. People predict things every single year, but I will say it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what I think, because I'm just a YouTuber. Nobody cares. I'm not the smartest NBA person in the world, but believe it or not, some of the smartest people in the NBA sphere are the general managers, the people who run these teams. They make the moves, they make the contracts, they do everything. And that is why, everybody, one of my favorite things to do every single season, it's almost like a tradition at this point, is to go over the GM survey. We have this year's version, 49 questions ahead of the new season. Some of these are predictions, some of these are hot takes, and some of these are just very random questions that are fun to be answered. So let's just dive right into it, starting off with what team will win the 2026 NBA Finals. 80% of the GMs say the OKC Thunder are going back-to-back. The Cleveland Cavaliers, Denver Nuggets, Houston Rockets, and New York Knicks all get votes. Last year, the Boston Celtics had an 83%. Obviously, they, went down a little unexpectedly. Okay, sorry. So this is actually down here. This is like the teams that they think are going to come out of the Eastern Conference. Orlando is pretty high up on this list. I did not expect them to be higher than Atlanta. Detroit as well. Also, I guess you could say is getting somewhat disrespected considering their jump from last season, but I do think that it's properly placed down there. As for the Western Conference, OKC Thunder, of course, are the highest, predicted to win the Western Conference here. Denver, Houston, Minnesota, Golden State above the Clippers and Lakers. That's kind of insane. That is kind of insane. I know they have Steph Curry, for God's sakes, and I'm not even high on the Lakers or Clippers really, but them being above both LA teams is kind of absurd. Obviously, my two dark horses, Dallas and San Antonio, are down there as well. I hope they prove everybody wrong this season. Who will win NBA MVP? 67% say Nikola Jokic. I'm looking at everybody else that received votes. You get some Giannis. Oh my God, man. They have Luka Doncic, Shea, and Victor over Giannis winning MVP. That just goes to show how down everybody is on Giannis in general, man. That is pretty nuts, especially because Giannis was the guy that was usually in the top 3 conversations surrounding MVP. But it seems like people think that Jokic is going to get it again. I would not be surprised, even though I want Wembanyama to win that trophy. Anthony Edwards, of course. Donovan Mitchell would be absolutely insane. I don't know what it would take for Donovan Mitchell to win MVP over everybody else. I think the Cavaliers would have to break the Warriors, all-time record of regular games. That is the only way. And Donovan Mitchell would have to average 40 fucking points for him to actually get the respect to win MVP. If you were starting a franchise today and could sign any player in the NBA, who would it be? Victor Wembanyama with 83%. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic right below. And even last year, Wembanyama had 77%. That is absurd. Obviously, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the guy's insanely young and has, so much room to grow. But I do hope that this is something we don't look back on in the future and say, man, look how dumb they were for choosing Wemby as their, guy to start a franchise around. Which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? Nikola Jokic leads the way with 57%, alongside Giannis, Steph Curry, Luka, SGA. Luka Doncic really dropped, man. Last year, he led this voting with 33%. And honestly, yeah, Nikola Jokic, God knows what you can do to stop him. It is actually impossible. He is one of those guys where you just can't do it. Giannis is I guess you just pack the paint a little bit and, you try to, I guess, watch out for the kick out passes to whoever, it used to be Damian Lillard, but not anymore. Yeah, honestly, this makes a lot of sense. Nikola Jokic is just absurd. Which player is most likely to have a breakout season? Leading the way is Amen Thompson with 30%. Then you have Brandon Miller, Asar Thompson, Victor Wembanyama, Franz Wagner, and then an absolute boatload of other players who received votes as well. I really want to go through this because Amen Thompson, I see it. The hype surrounding him at the end of last season was insane. I've also made it very clear that I think Asar Thompson deserves a lot more credit, and I'm excited to see him and happy to see him on this list. Brandon Miller is a very fair bet as well. Victor Wembanyama, I don't know how much more of a breakout season he can have. I think the only way that he has an even crazier breakout year that shocks people is if he actually ends up being top top 3 in MVP voting or even wins the award. Because right now, we all know how good he is. We all have an idea in our mind as to what he is going to look like next year and the numbers he is going to put up. So for him to have a breakout year and kind of blow everybody's expectations away, he's got to be one of the best guys in the league. Top 3 best player in the league. That's the only way. Franz is a very good selection as well, especially if Orlando can kind of shock some people standings wise and maybe in the postseason. Danny Advia, Stephon Castle, Jalen Green in Phoenix. Oh, Jesus Christ. Jalen Johnson's a good shout. There's a lot of good names here, a lot of young guys, along with Zion Williamson from New Orleans. I guess this is like under the assumption that he'll be fully healthy. He might have a breakout year. That's so funny, man. It's just him alongside a bunch of young guys. Who is the best point guard in the NBA? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with 73%. That's fair. I mean, MVP. He did everything last season. I am a bit surprised that Steph Curry is below Luka. When I think of point guard, I think of Steph Curry before I think of Luka Doncic. But best shooting guard, you have Anthony Edwards at 70%, then Donovan Mitchell, Luka, SGA, Steph Curry, and surprisingly, oh my God, not a single vote for Devin Booker. Maybe he's going to have the best breakout season since nobody has him as their best shooting guard. That is crazy. Best small forward goes to Luka Doncic. Goddamn, Luka is top 3 on every fucking category. Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant. Okay, of course. Surprised that LeBron is even this far down. Best power forward, Giannis at 93%. Evan Mobley with 7%. And then best center, Nikola Jokic at 97%. And some people saying that Wembanyama is better than Nikola Jokic. Hey, it might not be real right now, but I hope that ages into something that's true. I hope Wembanyama becomes the best center in the NBA. Moving forward to the offseason moves. What team made the best overall moves this offseason? As expected, the Atlanta Hawks with their Kristaps Porzingis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Luke Kennard, I guess, guys that they got. Houston Rockets with their Kevin Durant move, if I had to, pick one. Denver Nuggets getting Cameron Johnson, I guess, and Orlando Magic getting the Desmond Bane trade. What team made the best overall moves this season and you guys voted for the team that literally blew everything up? What the fuck is that? Is ridiculous. Oh my God, that pisses me off. Which one player acquisition will make the biggest impact? Kevin Durant, Houston, 73%. Desmond Bane, 17%. We also have a selection for a rookie here. I don't think that should count at all. Drew Holiday in Portland will have the biggest impact. Who the fuck is voting on this shit? I guess we all know it's the NBA GMs. Drew Holiday in Portland is not doing shit, bro. I do like this. Kevin Durant, Houston for sure. I hope Desmond Bane makes a huge impact in Orlando. That would be awesome. What was the most underrated player acquisition? Desmond Bane, Orlando. I think the one thing with this Desmond Bane deal was how much Orlando had to give up for him. That was kind of the one thing that made me a bit more skeptical on the entire thing. It just felt like you're putting a lot of trust in one guy, hoping it works, because if it doesn't work, you put a lot more assets into him than you may have, should have. But I do think that's fair to say it's an underrated acquisition. I'm excited to see, of course, how he plays out there. Cam Johnson in Denver, I could see that. KP Atlanta. Lonzo Ball Cleveland. This has been my selection for this kind of category. I've been very clear on that. And then we just get to the most gutter, bottom of the barrel bullshit, bro. Marcus Smart for the Lakers. What team will be the most improved in 2025-26? The Orlando Magic lead the way. Okay, hold on. These GMs are not playing with the Orlando Magic right now. That is actually one very surprising thing. I didn't think they'd be that high on Orlando. That's really cool to see. The Atlanta Hawks, of course, are tied with the San Antonio Spurs. I know that for me, if I had to choose a, most improved team, I would say the San Antonio Spurs. I think they're going to have a great year. But hey, I totally respect it. What is the most surprising move of this offseason? Milwaukee waiving and stretching Damian Lillard, Miles Turner to Milwaukee, the Atlanta New Orleans draft trade, Celtics breaking up their core. Yang Hansen drafted at number 16 is a good shout. That is a great shout right there. I would agree with this. I think Milwaukee dropping Dame was fucking mind-blowing. But there are some good ones here. The Atlanta trade is crazy. The Yang Hansen draft, that was pretty shocking. I don't think Dennis Schroeder to Sacramento was too wild. I mean, they didn't have a point guard and they needed somebody, and it's the Sacramento Kings. Of course, they will make a bad decision. Rookies and international players. We have Rookie of the Year going to Cooper Flagg, VJ Edgecombe with the 3 43% vote. Last year, it was Reed Shepherd at 50%. Oh my God, that is horrible. Oh my God. What rookie will be the best in 5 years? Cooper Flagg, VJ Edgecombe, Dylan Harper. 5 years ago, it was James Wiseman. That was 5 years ago? 5 years ago, they said James Wiseman would be the best player 5 years from that draft. And now he's basically out of the league. I know he's signed with some team, but holy shit, man. Which rookie was the biggest steal at where he was selected in the draft? Okay, of course, any Miami Heat selection is going to get this vote. I'm not surprised. Who is the best international player not in the NBA? Sasha Vezenkov gets 44% of the vote. As a Sacramento Kings fan, I wholeheartedly agree with you guys. I wish he was on the league. I wish he was on my team, but he just didn't fit at that time, which is actually really sad. Moving on to defense. Who is the best defensive player in the NBA? Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, he's already going home with the DPOY. It doesn't matter. The only thing that's stopping him is if he gets injured. The best defensive team in the NBA is the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're not really surprised there. The best head coach in the NBA goes to Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat. You know what's actually surprising right here? I'm not seeing a single vote for JJ Redick. That is actually interesting to me because I felt like GMs would be a little bit more like, oh yeah, we like JJ, especially because he somehow, you know, brought the Lakers to be the 3rd seed last year. So that is somewhat surprising. Which head coach is the best manager / motivator of the people? Once again, no JJ Redick vote. I know he's new to the whole coaching thing, but man, that is pretty interesting. All right, moving on from the serious stuff, we have some of my favorite questions, or I guess my favorite segment of the entire NBA GM poll, and that is the miscellaneous stuff. Which team is the most fun to watch? Denver Nuggets, OKC Thunder tied at first. Indiana Pacers, I understand that like last year they were a lot of fun. I wish that they kind of took into account though, like the Tyrese injury and someone else just got injured. Fuck, I'm blanking on the name. Dude, I am loving the Orlando Magic representation right now. That is awesome. Whoa, last year the most fun team was the Indiana Pacers, and they got votes again this year. I don't know why I don't remember that. That's crazy. Which team has the best home court advantage? Denver Nuggets. Oh, because they're a mile up in the sky or whatever the hell. Oklahoma City Thunder because they have good fans. Which team's level of success is the toughest to predict? Number one, by a mile, is the 76ers. I wholeheartedly agree, just because their entire season is relied on Joel Embiid's health, and that is one of the most impossible things to predict. That's probably why you have the New Orleans Pelicans down here. Even the Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant. Dallas Mavericks as well with health and being young and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I do like the 76ers being the top one here. Which team has the most promising young core? Oklahoma City Thunder. Whatever, bro. Fuck it. I don't care. They already won a damn ring. This one makes me really sad, but which player is the fastest with the ball? De'Aaron Fox still leads the way. I think he's been leading this vote for multiple years, and it makes me sad because I remember when he was on the Kings, this is the one poll that would like always have De'Aaron or always have a Kings player number one. So I'd get so excited, but now it says San Antonio. God damn it. Which player is the best passer? We're not surprised at all. Which player is the best leader? Steph Curry is 43%. LeBron only at 7%. Who is the most versatile player in the NBA? You have Giannis, Victor, LeBron, Evan Mobley, Jalen Williams. Very interesting. Nikola Jokic only getting a couple votes, not really being even in the top 3. Which player has the best basketball IQ? Nikola Jokic has 80% compared to last year where he was only by 53%. Which player would you want taking a shot with the game on the line? Steph Curry, 47%. Honestly, yeah, I have no argument with that at all. And finally, the most important question, at least relating to the actual GMs here, is what rule most needs to change? The first one being, with 26% of the votes, roster construction. Apron rules are too harsh. Add a cap discount for own drafted players. Allow trading partial salaries and make all minimum contracts the same. Are we really surprised that NBA GMs, their most concerning rule is that their job is harder now? They also have the draft schedule. The game flow needs to be faster. Whoa, they said hockey style subs. That is insane. Is that like players just leaving in the middle of a play and going in and out? That would be fucking crazy. Faster reviews and no live ball timeouts. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think that would be awesome. Playoff format. Seed 1 through 16. Top seeds choose opponents. Okay, what the fuck are they talking about right now? Oh my God. In the top 5, higher penalties for cap circumvention. Okay, bro. That is the most obvious shot towards the LA Clippers I have ever seen. That is wild. And as you can see right here, even last year, they were still upset about the roster construction, so it's clear that these GMs are not liking the new apron rules. Well, that's the 2025-2026 GM survey. Some of these takes were absolutely horrendous, and some of these were good. Some of them I agreed with. I didn't think that they were that bad. But as always, I am very curious to hear what you guys think, whether it's one of my opinions or one of these GM opinions. Comment down below everything. I read and respond to everybody. And man, the NBA season is right around the corner, so I can't wait. I will see you guys all in the next one. Later.